Well, here's the mighty Thor. This is a cat that may not understand no. I don't think you've seen Thor yet. Here, go away, Thor. All right, going on with some Utopian books. Pitcairn's Island, I didn't have it. This is the trilogy, Mutiny on the Bounty, Men Against the Sea, and then Pitcairn's Island. This is the one that actually could maybe most seem to be, well, that's an interesting story because that really happened. And was it a utopia? Well, it was an island, and it didn't turn out well. Green Mansions is in that idea of real sentimental books about the sort of the noble savage, this girl in the Amazon jungle, Hudson. It belongs sort of in here. Romance of the Tropical Forest. And I was thinking about that little savage. I see that fitting right in with that idea of the noble savage that was current in the Romantic period, which I talked about elsewhere. And related to Lost Horizon, The Razor's Edge, this was a very influential book on my life, given to me by my girlfriend in 10th grade. She thought I should read it. And it's not really utopian, but it fits in my mind because it deals with that idea that maybe the East, Hinduism, maybe it has answers. The sharp edge of a razor is difficult to pass over. Thus the wise say the path to salvation is hard. Different in a way, but I'm going to mention that once again. Okay, now, New England. Walden. Henry David Thoreau is Walden. He also wrote an essay, Civil Disobedience. A very, very influential man. And he was, you talk about a dropout. He wasn't very social. Well, I don't want to go on with him, but he had a friend, Emerson. Emerson's essays. This was my dad's book. In college. Emerson's essays, I really liked them for a while. I don't know if I'll go back to them or not, but Emerson was sort of part of this thinking in a way. He was in a lot of ways a more reasonable man than Thoreau. But Emerson, one of these essays in here is called the Oversoul. There it is, the Oversoul. And with Emerson, and this is New England now. These men lived in Massachusetts. He was making a connection to the East. Transcendentalism, it was called. The Oversoul. But that's getting pretty heavy for what my purposes here. Now, Brook Farm, I don't know as much about this as I should, but there's Emerson, see? There's Emerson. This was an experiment, the definitive study of one of America's most unusual experiments in establishing the ideal society, Brook Farm. I should read this, actually. I'd sort of, maybe I will. I'd sort of like to know more about it. I know it exists, and I actually haven't read it. Now, these three books are historical. I mean, these aren't. These are not to somebody's flight of fancy in a way, but New England towns, Puritan village, they were in a sense efforts in utopia. Trying to do it better than Europe. Puritan village, been a long time, probably won't be reading that again. Peaceable kingdoms, New England towns in the 18th century. Once again, a study of what those towns were like. This is in basically decentralist times. A New England town, the first 100 years, same thing. I hope you can see that picture. I always was amazed at those elms that they were allowed to grow so close to the house and left like that. A utopian commune. See, this is connected, and probably at some point I should reread that. Now, I wanted to mention the book Daily Bread. Oh, and my hands are so dirty. These books are so dirty. I'm sorry about that. Daily Bread. This was a movie. Our Daily Bread. Our Daily Bread. It was made in the 1930s, and it was utopian. It would sort of fit in. I thought of that in connection to the movie Lost Horizon, about people making a farm work during the Depression years in the 1930s. Okay, and now finally, still New England, but now coming up to closer to my time. Helen and Scott Nearing, they were sort of gurus in the 1960s. I'm still wanting to hold back from the 1960s because there was a regular explosion in the 1960s. How to live sanely and simply in a troubled world. I think I might have heard him speak once. I think I might have heard him speak in New England, 1954. Well, okay, that's sort of the New England connection here. I could get the camera rolling. Otherwise, I could stop and sort of study this more. But now we're getting close to what happened in the 1960s, and I'll have lots to show you about that. All right. A kind of new Walden, but very much more practical. Okay, see you tomorrow.